Hey Glads Nation, I am Nick Bove, your new voice of the Gladiators. Sitting next to me, beginning his second year as the head coach of the Gwinnett Gladiators, it's Rick Emmett. And we are just about halfway through September, so that means, unfortunately, summer is just about over. But that does mean that fall is right around the corner, and with it, that means that hockey season is right around the corner. It was a very busy offseason for the Gladiators. A lot of guys returning back to the team, but a lot of new faces coming in as well. We'll get to that in just a minute, but first, Coach, start off with an easy question. How was your summer?
Summer's been long. It's been long. Obviously, not making the playoffs extends it that much more, but it's been a good summer of, reflecting on the prior season and kind of see what we need to do, where we need to get to, and again, enjoy the family, boys when they're out of school, and do the summer things that most normal families do.
Now, getting to before the summer began, we'll focus a little bit on the end of last season. What did you think about how last season went for the team?
Well, I mean, we certainly had our struggles, especially early on. Combination of, I think, some bad luck and things that we had to learn as a group that took a little bit of a while to get through. Certainly, we would like to see some more wins in the first half of the season. I think second half of the season was obviously better, and from the wins-losses standpoint, and I think culture-wise, we started to get to where we wanted to get to. But no doubt, I mean, the first season took a lot out of everybody in first half of the season, and is definitely a lot of soul searching and figuring out where we need to get to and how we're going to get there. And again, it's certainly was more indicative, I think, of what we had in the locker room was our results in our second half of the season.
Now you have a fresh chance to rebuild the roster how you want it, an entire summer to do it, because you didn't really have a chance to last summer. What were some of the goals for building the roster this offseason?
Well, certainly getting to a culture thing with leadership. That's something I think we really wanted to address this year going into it. Obviously, we had good guys in leadership roles last year. We had good hockey players, and again, as we all did as a group, we had some growing pains with that. But this year, more established leadership that's more comfortable in the role certainly was one of the goals of ours, and I think we've done a really good job with that, accomplishing that. We wanted a little bit more balance as far as from forward 1 to forward 10, and create add some depth to what we have. And again, what I mean by balance as well as having two lines that can score and a third line that can play a more physical role, but at the same time can contribute on any given night offensively as well.
Well, so far, Gladiators have announced 13 signings, so over half the roster is pretty much good to go for training camp, which is coming up soon. Let's focus on a few of the players. I know the fan base has been very happy with how the Gladiators have built up so far this summer. But let's start off with a guy like Casey Piero-Zabatel.
Yeah, Zabby's obviously coming to his third season with us. We got him late last year. A piece that we would like to have at the beginning of the year, but I think at the point in time when he did come in, it was a great addition for us and a boost that we really needed. So Zabo is a guy that just you know what you're getting. You're getting consistency every night. It's a guy that can play the center position, play in every situation. And again, is a quiet leader from a verbal standpoint. But with his responsibility level and what he has, he wears a big leadership role for us for sure, just based on what he can do for us from a hockey club.
Now, Piero-Zabatel joined the Gladiators last season, a few months into the season, so good to have that leadership back for this upcoming year. Now, Gladiators went through quite a bit of goaltenders last season, the 13th of the season, a team record for goaltenders in 1 year. The 13th stuck, and Mark Guggenberger, and he's back for another year.
Yep, Googs was a huge addition. Again, at a time when we're kind of, felt like we were, drowning in that position at times. I don't think if you look at goalie transactions, there's teams that have had probably close to that many, but again, I think if you look at the goalies that we lost, we lost, I think, at some point 4 number 1 goalies, what we consider number 1 goalie pedigree in this league, and to year-ending injuries, and that's tough to recover from. And again, we got lucky with Googs and being able to stumble upon him, and Googs really set the bar, for obviously stability in the net for us. And again, that's what we're looking for him for this year.
Guggenberger started last year with the Alaska Aces, went to the Allen Americans of the CHL, and safe to say is a fan favorite coming back for another year here with the Gladiators. Now, a couple of faces that weren't here last year, we'll start off with one, Sean Bergstresser, who was a captain with Greenville last season.
Yeah, again, obviously a pivotal thing in our recruiting this year was, to get our leadership in place, and I think he did a great job in Greenville last year. Obviously, they turned things around as well from a bit of a slow start to, probably being the top team in the conference or one of the top two teams in the conference. And I think that was attributed to leadership that they had in place there to be able to turn that around from where they were to where they finished.
Now we'll transition from a veteran forward to what will be a rookie forward. A guy that maybe the fan base doesn't know much about. Maybe you could tell them a little bit more about Nathan Burns.
Yeah, Nathan was is a very integral part of our recruiting process again this year. He's going to be a young centerman. He plays a 200-foot hockey game. Which in our eyes, from a 21-year-old kid coming on major junior, that is not an aberration, but you don't see it much. And he's a very responsible hockey player. Plays a very mature game, and that's what we're looking to expect out of Nathan, is to come in here and, again, establish himself as that. I think he's one of those that kind of slips through the cracks. We'll have him with our affiliate for training camp. He's already been to some of Arizona's development camp stuff. But, again, Nathan's a player that we're going to look to a lot to play some good minutes for us this year.
So the fan base is very excited about what's already in place for the Gladiators. We asked the fans to submit some questions for Coach Emmett, and we picked a few that I think would work well in this setting. So we'll start off with a question from Laura Prim on Facebook. What things are you going to do differently this season?
What we're going to do differently? Well, I think the number one goal would be to win some more hockey games and get to the Kelly Cup playoffs. But how we're going to get there is, again, making sure consistency, expectations are laid out, and then you can put in the accountability. But again, keeping tabs on those guys all year and making sure our due diligence is being done. And again, everything's clearly defined as what we expect and what we need to win.
Next question's from Joel Pothier on Facebook. How do you feel you progressed as a head coach last season?
I think, with the player progression and my progression, I think we saw that's kind of the turnaround, at the turning point. Again, I think certainly no excuses as far as our start was concerned, but we did have some bad luck, I believe, and but again, I think a lot of what I learned as a coach kind of was at this point in the year, having the time and being able to sort through what you want to sort through. A lot of it really kind of starts at this time of the year, these last 4 or 5 months, and I think that's one of the biggest things I learned for sure.
Next question comes from Kep Parsons, at Kep Parsons on Twitter. Are we looking to play a more physical style this year?
Yeah, I think ideally, as a coach, you want your team to play physical. You want in-your-face hockey is what we talk about, what you might hear a lot about. And again, that's going to be the plan this year. Do I think we're better suited for it this year? Absolutely. Again, I think through recruiting and through the questions that I answered before, we've been able to fill areas that we thought were deficient in, and to be able to play a physical brand of hockey every night where it's something that you don't have to bang into the players' heads, where it's a little bit more natural. Again, that comes with personalities and players that you coach and roles that they're comfortable in, and we certainly have guys that are going to be comfortable with that role this year for sure.
Well, we'd like to thank the fans for submitting those questions. Unfortunately, we can't get to all of them. Maybe further on this season we'll ask for some more. Well, Coach, we'll wrap up with one last easy question. Are you ready for the season?
Absolutely. I'll reiterate again, it's been a long off season, and I'm really excited to see what we have. I got a really good indication of what we have as far as proven ability in our league, and again, proven ability from the junior league and college league. So very excited. It's an exciting time for us, for myself as a coach, to be able to have a full off season to mold and clay everything that you want as far as what a hockey team is, and I think we're sitting really good right now.
Well, Coach is excited. I know I'm excited, and I'm sure you all are excited as well. Make sure to keep an eye on Glads TV throughout training camp, which begins in just a few weeks. We'll focus on some of the new players coming into town, some of the players that are returning as well. And then don't forget that the season starts on October 24th here at the arena at Gwinnett Center when the Gladiators host the Wheeling Nailers. I'd like to thank Coach for sitting down with me. I'm Nick Bove, and we'll see you in October.